My mama calls and you
Boom.
on TV.
We're live, guys.
Shit done changed.
All right, y'all. What's up? My name is Mark Gomez. I'm from Vallejo, California, also known as Stick MG or Stuck, and I currently reside in San Jose. And I'm an artist, and I've only been doing this for a very short amount of time, but it's just been such a great process. It helps I have a great team with me, like these guys right here. It's just a lot of creation going back and forth, a lot of ideas and a lot of what ifs, like, oh, what if we did this or that? So it helps to have these guys here kind of playing into everything that we do. And basically, I just dropped my first line of shirts, so shout out to everybody that copped one. I just really appreciate it. We sold out really fast. So I'm here to show y'all a couple of things that we got. I'll start with the original pieces right here. We got my first thing right here. This is like the first thing I ever really made to sell. And I just use a stencil, and I just plan on making like 5 of them. Then I showed a bunch of people these, and they all wanted them. So this was the first thing where I was like, okay, we're on to something. And this skull guy is basically just, I can't draw people. Like, I've been drawing my whole life. I used to draw in church on receipts because my mom wanted to keep me quiet. And so I've just been doing this skull dude forever because I can't draw noses or shade correctly. So this kind of like speaks to me. I like 30s cartoons too, and just like the ideas of pictures kind of speaking for your brand and stuff like that. So I kind of have a couple characters that I always draw back to, and a couple color schemes or different camos, as I call them, that I like doing. So we got this one. Then we kind of did other stuff too. I wanted to emphasize that I was more like an artist, not a brand. I have like Systems, which is my brand, but me personally, I want to be able to move freely and create on anything I want. And if I'm stuck doing shirts forever, then that wouldn't be like where I'd be happy. So I do things like pillows. Got this clock right here too. This is probably one of my favorites that I've made. It was just like kind of an accident. Like happy accidents was like my theme of creating stuff. It's just, I just saw, what if I put a lot of my art on clocks, and then just fell in love with the idea that it doesn't have to just be stuff you can wear. It could be, you know, stuff you hang up in your room. And, you know, so a lot of people want to go for different aesthetics in their place. So I like the poppy colors. Kind of helps me, you know, with my own room and stuff that I'd want in my room. So a lot of people feel the same.
Sick.
Then we got, thank you, Josh. Then we got the shirts that I dropped. This is probably the toughest one I made. This is my Systems World Tour shirt. Got the back too. And I'll go over kind of everything. Basically, before I was drawing like the real cartoon skull, it was literally kind of like this semi-anatomically correct, but not try too hard guy. And I think it's funny how like band tees are really in, and like people want to wear like Led Zeppelin and stuff like that, but you always get called out at a party like, oh, you know, name 5 songs. And so, you know, this was like my answer to that. You don't gotta like a band, you could just like my brand. And so that's what we do. So I just wanted like fire and just like weird one color neon stuff because it just spoke to me a lot. Did a custom font for it, and I just wanted to give like a cool rocker feel. And on the back, we have like what are supposed to be tour dates, but they're really not. It's more like planet coordinates because I just love random, pointless coordinates and numbers, letters, and mysterious stuff. Because if you saw a guy wearing this in Trader Joe's, you'd say, oh, what band is that? But there's, you know, no brand. Yeah. And you just think like, oh, they're playing all through December. And you realize the dates are out of order. You're just confused, you know? So kind of a attraction to that one. It's just kind of a fun shirt to make. But it was a nightmare because it takes the most work. And the way I make my shirts right now is I do a lot of heat transfer, and I do it all by hand. So I'm hand cutting this stuff, and I'm ironing on myself. And it's kind of like the easiest way to get my ideas out. And yeah, so that was like my process right now with this one. That's a fun shirt. Then we got the classic. It's the same camo over the, you know, just like the regular logo that I got. Have the back here. It's like this collage. I call this 111 camo. And so I put it on the clock, and people seem to love like the design and how weird and bright it is. Kind of just an eye-popping thing. And so I like showing people this one because, you know, it just like makes people smile, and that's like the coolest response that you get. I like how all the colors I use kind of make everyone get behind it. It's not something that you couldn't like or could like. You know, if you just like seeing color, it's not really much past that. So I put it on the front like this, kind of like infused it into my Systems logo. I usually do it kind of in a black or green. And shout out to Raquel because she helped me do this on Illustrator. I had no idea how to do this. And then like we got the backside, which is basically just like that full camo. And it's kind of a cool story because I made this just to practice. This wasn't even a design. This was more just like me using my Wacom pen because I've never used like tablets like that. So it was just me kind of getting to know the pen and seeing what colors I like to look at together. I mean, as you can see, I like just like contrasting colors and just like nice pastel, like tan stuff and stuff like that. And so, you know, not much story behind this one. It's just kind of like my personal camo. So that one was cool too. And for this next one, we have a handsome young model sporting
It's me.
one of my first shirts. So
Sick.
this is really simple. Just on the front, something that a lot of people could wear. And so this handsome young man's gonna turn around. And it's kind of a funny story. It's just like a collab behind my own two minds. Because in system stuff is more like 80s, 90s Mac, old school computer, digital stuff. And I really like that aesthetic. And then I had this skull that I also wanted to make my logo as well. So, you know, I took this skull, mixed them together, had systems and the skull dudes shake hands, and now it's just like he's the mascot. And so that was a cool thing too.
Nice.
So yeah, those are a few of my pieces that I brought today. I got a lot more stuff in the works.
Forget about that
Oh
one.
yeah, I also do a lot of one-on-one stuff too. I can't forget about this guy. Show these guys too. These can't miss out on here. It has all hand stitching, one
Nice.
stencil, ink, stuff like that. And shout out to Raquel again because she did all the hand stitching in 100-degree heat in a little ass room. And so that was kind of a crazy time. I was getting shirt orders done and she was doing this for fun and it came out awesome. So I do like to do one-on-one pieces because I like to treat the shirts and jackets and things like that like a canvas because, you know, people are wearing art and that's kind of like what people get behind. And so I like doing the one-on-one stuff that shows more effort than a mass-produced shirt. It kind of helps with me identifying as an artist more than just a brand or like a, you know, just like a mass-produced, brain-dead kind of send them all out to everybody type thing.
Yep.
So yeah, I have a lot of these one-on-ones coming out on a lot of jackets that people have gratefully let me draw on and go crazy on. So I'm kind of really thankful for that. So we got this one, a bunch more of those. And on top of that, we got a lot of stuff planned. These were all like the ideas I wanted to get out pretty much from my head right away. And so now I'm working on a bunch of collabs with people because something about a collab is just so cool. I remember growing up and seeing like Stissy Babe collabs or like, you know, just like Supreme on a plastic bottle. And I thought that stuff was so interesting. So that kind of like feeling that stuff gives me, I want to emulate too. And so I'm working with a lot of great minds. Shout out Solomon. We got some coming out for his stuff pretty soon. On 10-25, it's this brand that I reached out to on Instagram. And we got some really cool stuff coming out in October, I think so. So I'll message her right now and find out what's going on with that. But yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff. My friend Gio and I are working on a crazy piece. I don't want to spoil too much. You guys are just going to have to tune in. And so, yeah, those are where my mind's going until October. I got a lot more stuff coming out on my Redbubble where I do a lot more of the, you know, pillows and duffel bags I just released, things like that. So those are going to be coming steady all the time throughout the months until October. And then we're going to get ready for some winter stuff and go crazy. We're going to go crazy. So, yeah. And then in terms of my process, I really wanted to talk about my process. So I'm glad Andy asked about this because I feel like I'm insane when I'm working. I like can't think during summer when it's 1 p.m. to like 5. It's too hot and I can't be creative when I'm sweating and I can't see the page because it's dripping wet. And so I work the best from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. and I work like a maniac with 3 fans in my room. If you ask anyone who's seen me working, they'll know that I have 3 fans going on. I have like art documentaries playing in the background because their voices are soothing. It's like weird stuff, but that's where I really get a lot of my juices out. And that's where I do a lot of my busy work. Go to school. And so I just wanted to combat that because I don't ever see anything in the mall that I like all the way. I'm really picky with how I spend my money whenever I buy clothes. So I figured if I made my own clothes, it would go a little better with how, you know, just like, oh, I'd love to wear that. And so that's my philosophy, is just making stuff that I think is cool. And I just been a blessing that people kind of get behind that same idea. So that's, you know, really thankful for everyone who's seen the vision already. So yeah, that's one motivator. Also, it's just freeing to be an artist, honestly. Like in San Jose too, it's such a great community on First Street. And I'm behind this mural with that like 100 artists right here. And shout out to everyone who did this. And it's just kind of a testament to how cool it is to be out here. Everybody supports each other. Everybody thinks everyone's cool, and there's no idea too crazy. And that was the only way I could thrive in this kind of environment. Guy coming from never showing his art, guy coming from no technical skill. People are still, people who've done this for years and years already, they're still getting behind it, making sure that I have what I need, and it's cool to bounce back and forth with these guys. So, San Jose is a really good place where I would never be able to do anything like this if it wasn't for the people around me encouraging me to just do anything. That's the only reason why I'm sitting here right now. And so that was a really cool thing. Shout out Andy for this again. Yeah, and then let's see, what else?
When did you start?
I started in December of 2019. And so it was just, I would draw a lot. I had really easy classes at the time. I'm still in school. I had really easy classes in fall last year. And so I would just doodle a lot because I didn't really need to take a lot of notes. I took a lot of philosophy and stuff like that. And so I would just draw the same characters I've been drawing forever. And then I would just show my girlfriend Raquel, and then she would just tell me, like, you should post this, you should post this. And it came to a head when my friend Daisy, she told me to get on like Adobe Illustrator and just try it out. She was gonna give me her code. And so I found a way to download it because the school gives it to us. And then the rest was history. I just fell in love with it right away because I used to do like Microsoft Paint when I was little all the time. I would never have enough money to afford like Call of Duty or Halo on my computer, so I would always just be making up stories in my head on Microsoft Paint. And so that was kind of like where I get a lot of my inspiration, just a lot of internal recycling coming back. And that was kind of like the beauty of starting and just not having any formal training. I just have that freedom to do whatever I want and learn as I go. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Pull a Nardwuar on you. You have that sketchbook? No, I'm just kidding. You got that sketchbook? You got it? You're like, wait, it's on my...
Pulls out my sketchbook. Yeah. Sets me up. Oh, this is yours, right? I'm drawing these two dragon girls kissing with thorn tongues, right?
Two dragons, one cup. Two.
I'm on the back side now, so I'm using all the back pages, and so there's a lot of cool stuff on there. That's like the coolest thing for me is I don't have to jot down ideas. Like, I'm so used to taking notes in school and doing all this stuff. So it's cool that my new notebook is just all a bunch of drawings or what's ever in my head. I never finish some of the sketches I do. It's just enough to get an idea out. Sometimes it looks terrible, so it's like throwaway pages, and that's like the beauty of it. It's just that little idea that I remember. It's just helped me to remember all the stuff that goes on in my head. So that sketchbook means a lot to me. Once I finish it, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I have a plan to like maybe put them all digitally so I could just see it again and again. But I'm gonna keep that sketchbook forever. I love that thing. That has a lot of gems in there. Shout out to Maddie, because Maddie got me the sketchbook and a crazy pen with it, and I didn't know how cool pens could be, but it took an artist to give me a really cool pen, and I fell in love. It just felt cool to like draw lines. I like to cross hatch and sketch with black ink, so I don't know, my dad always told me that I had a really steady hand, so he was gonna tell me, like I used to tell him I wanted to be a doctor.
I for sure thought you were gonna be a surgeon.
Yeah, I had really, really steady hands. They're delicate and like tiny little hands. I used to do models when I was a little kid, like airplane models and stuff like that my dad would give me. And then I would just draw a lot. I saw my dad draw, it looked cool. I just kind of just always drew no matter what. It was just, I don't know what really started all that. It's just kind of in my nature forever. And it's just, it just took like people to let me show everybody else. That's what the turning point was, because I never thought my stuff was good, or I just always thought my stuff was like silly, or I always compared it to like good art. Then I realized like there's no such thing as good art. It's like more about the creativity or what you're trying to express with it. And once I realized it's more like the emotions you bring out of people, or just getting your idea out, it's always going to be accepted by at least one other person. So that was a really cool thing, just knowing that everybody could get behind something that's like really random or weird, or like I always think good art is like classical art, or people that sketch faces with shadows and stuff. So when I found that people would like this stuff with no shadows or no technical skill, that's when I knew it was like, this stuff's pretty fun. It's cool that people can understand what I'm trying to relate. People get anxiety.
Oh yeah, putting out your work, just putting
out your work, and like I think the biggest testament is I only started in December 2019, and then the growth I've had in the couple months. People reach out to me, I reach out to people. I'm just not shy with what I do. I used to have a big block in my head, like the quality of my shirts isn't that good, or things don't look right or not even or perfect. And then I just took that out of my head because just trust your idea at the end of the day, and then you can't leave it as an idea. If you're a creative, you gotta let the world see what's in your own head, because it's not the same as the next guy as much as you think it is. And with time and practice, you come up with your really own feel, and that's just part of the process. And enjoy it, just have fun, because bye.
Hey, look, it's sunny.
Hold on, I gotta say hi.
Hey, where's his
A lot busy school, and then you got these guys here helping me get famous.
That's nice. Thank you.
Oh, I got masks, bro. I got masks. Don't worry, I got masks.
All right, Andy. Thank you.
See you, Auntie.
Love you, Andy.
I love you too, not only her.
Everybody here. We're all going to Hawaii, remember?
Say
I
hi
didn't forget.
Say hi to your honey.
I will. She says hi back to everybody.
All right, thank you.
All right, I'll see you guys back. Good to see you guys.
Andy,
Get home
have a good
safe.
night.
Take
Peace
care,
out.
Auntie.
Bye.
To it, shout out to Sunny and the family, because they're great people. They always took care of me. But as a creative, if you have something you want to put out there and you're having doubts, just don't even think about it that hard. A lot of people, they predetermine what's going to happen, and then they never release things because they want it to be perfect. But there is no perfect. There is no, oh, I gotta do this to make it perfect, or I gotta do this so people like it. People will already like it if you just go with your idea. Make it happen naturally. A lot of people get caught up in the production or the quality. They spend years trying to get the best equipment before they drop anything, and then only 8 people see it just because you didn't spend the time to build that following, that connection with people, and then you get discouraged. You spend all these years preparing, and then your first drop doesn't go well, then you stop, and that's like poison. It's poison to creative people. You gotta really just get out there and just release what you want to release, and just trust in that. And then I guarantee that 10 other people will see it right away and love it, like they'll get something from it. So don't ever be too shy with your ideas. Let everybody flow. Everybody needs to grow, especially if you're a San Jose creative. You got a great team right here that will cheer you on. And if you're elsewhere, there's tons of people, there's tons of communities that you can get behind. Just do your research and post everything, whether it be your art or your music or your first beat. Get some criticism, get some information on what you can do to be better, but always love what you're at, because anything you make is going to be the best you could do at the time. And so that's important to know that you're doing the best that you can do, and it's the best that is coming out until you progress and do more and more. So always believe in yourself, always love your work, always love yourself, be your best friend, be your best critic, stuff like that. Just trust in yourself.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thanks, Mark. Thanks,
Mark. Thank you so much, Marcus.
Marcus.
Kuya. Joshua.
Thank you.
Big
all.
Nicoya.
Hey, thank you,
From the
everybody.
famous words of Kenny Beats, don't overthink shit.
And by the famous words of the 333 crew, make cool shit, and you will. So say that. Everybody have a great night. Get home safe. Everybody enjoy this quarantine. Thank you, SJ Storyboard. We're out.